And we're back! Coming back to tell us that we're back on again. The poor wireless card. Well, let's get through it. Tesla, AMD, and Nvidia are on the IBD leaderboard. Tesla and AMD are on the IBD 50. Micron Technology fell 2% before the open after a warning that China's strict ongoing COVID lockdown in Jian province will delay some DRAM shipments. Micron and some other rallied Tuesday as Samsung Electronics warned of the production issues due to the factories in Xi'an. Dow futures rose 0.2% versus fair value, S&P 500 futures climbed 0.2%, and NASDAQ 100 futures advanced 0.25%. Crude oil futures fell slightly in pre-market trade. Hopefully that means the gas price will come down just a little bit. The 10-year Treasury yield dipped 1 basis point to 1.53%. Remember, overnight action in Dow futures and elsewhere doesn't necessarily translate into actual trading in the next regular stock market session. Alright, let's grab one from CNBC, and let's get into the big news of the day. I'm looking at the number of articles across the top here, and it's like, wow, we're almost done already. As compared to what we are usually on a Thursday when, there's 45 articles sitting up here ready to go and ready to see what's happening with that. Stock futures inch higher after Dow S&P 500 closed at a record. From Pippa Stevens, did we hit a record on the close? I know we didn't move up very much, but I know that we were close to it as well. U.S. stock futures inched higher in early morning trading on Thursday after S&P 500 and Dow Industrial closed at new records. Futures contracts tied at the Dow gained about 50 points, while S&P 500 futures rose 0.2% and NASDAQ futures added 0.2%. Investors will get their latest look at the employment picture when the Labor Department reports on weekly jobless claims at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Economists surveyed by the Dow Jones expect initial claims to total 205,000 for the week ended December 25th, the same total as the prior period. That would keep claims around their lowest levels in more than 50 years. I am a little afraid of what's coming out today, or what came out just a bit ago, because I guess it is. Oh, well, I guess I don't have anything to be afraid of because it's breaking up at the top. 198,000, less than expected, and around a 52-year low. I'm a little surprised by that because, Black Friday's over and now it's time for the layoffs to start up again. But also on the other side of that, a lot of these retailers are out there searching for people, so I'm betting that a lot of the people that took the part-time jobs just to go and make a few more ends meet actually looked at this and said, you know what? I might stick around here, and the bosses are like, please come stay out here. I'm not surprised by that. I'm really not. In this market, not really at all. Also in the pre-market, Biogen slid 6.5% after Samsung denied a report in the Korea Economic Daily that it was in talks to buy Biogen. Biogen shares had surged 9.5% on Wednesday. During regular trading on Wednesday, the S&P 500 advanced 0.14% to its 70th record close of the year. This year has seen the second highest number of record closes. Well, Jesus Christ. We were at the bottom a year and a half ago at this point. Let's see. Trailing just behind 1995's 77 record closing highs. The Dow Jones rose 90 points, or 0.25%, to also close at a record, its first since November. The 30 stock benchmark saw its sixth straight positive session, and the NASDAQ Composite, however, declined 0.1%. Chip stocks came under pressure, with AMD, Xilinx, and Nvidia all declining at least 1%. Travel-related stocks also slid among the ongoing Pinko Pox concerns, with the New York Stock Exchange ARCA Airline Index dipping 2.5%. On the flip side, a number of consumer stocks rose to new all-time highs during the session, including Domino's, McDonald's, Yum, Costco, and Procter & Gamble. All three major averages are in the green for December. S&P and Dow are on pace for a second positive month in the last three, while the NASDAQ Composite is on track for a third straight month of gains. Wednesday's upward action for the Dow and S&P continued historically strong periods for stocks, which has been dubbed the Santa Claus Rally. The S&P 500 has notched a gain during the last 5 trading days of the year, followed by the first 2 sessions of January, 78.5% of the time since 1928, according to Bank of America. So a lot of information to absorb with this too. I'm going to say that a small jump in the Dow today. Are they open tomorrow? Are we trading tomorrow? I think so, because I think IBD would have told us they're not trading tomorrow. So there'll be some trading tomorrow. We'll see what happens with that and where that goes. Let's get into the big news of the day, starting with CNN. Jury finds Ghislaine Maxwell guilty of sex trafficking a minor for Jeffrey Epstein and 4 other charges. This is from Laura DeValle, Steve Almasi, and Ray Sanchez. A jury in New York federal court has found Ghislaine Maxwell. I'm sorry. I know that there's a proper pronunciation that you guys all like. Ghislaine Maxwell, guilty on 5 of 6 counts related to her role in Jeffrey Epstein's sexual abuse of minor girls between 1994 and 2004. Right before he, supposedly killed himself. Maxwell was found guilty on 5 federal charges: sex trafficking of a minor, transporting a minor with the intent to engage in criminal sexual activity, and 3 related counts of conspiracy. She was acquitted on the charge of enticing a minor to travel to engage in illegal sex acts. I would think that one would go with the other. Enticing and sex trafficking, I would think that those would go together. So, if the grand jury was able to bring the charge down, I'm having a little bit of trouble seeing why they would convict one but not the other. But Maxwell, who now faces up to 65 years in prison, showed no reaction when the verdicts were read. Judge Allison Nathan did not set a sentencing date. The road to justice has been far too long, but today justice has been done. U.S. Attorney Damian Williams said in a statement, "I want to commend the bravery of the girls, now grown women, who stepped out of the shadows and into the courtroom. Their courage and willingness to face their abuser made this case and today's result possible." 1 second. Sorry about that. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I came from a place where all the pollen is dead and came back into a place where there is still pollen once again, unfortunately. I was sneezing up a storm yesterday while we were walking. The jury, which was made up of 6 women and 6 men, deliberated for about 40 hours across the parts of 6 days. Prosecutors argued that Maxwell and Epstein conspired to set up a scheme to lure young girls into sexual relationships with Epstein from 94 to 04 in New York, the U.S. Virgin Islands. 4 women testified during the trial of abuse and sometimes participated in it as well. Which I'm a little surprised that, knowing what the testimony was going to be, I'm a little surprised the prosecution didn't try to bring forward, Kitty did. Would be on that, but I'm a little surprised that they didn't try to bring that one forward too, because it does sound like she definitely did some of that, or at least from the testimony. Now, I titled the show and the tweet that went with it. Excuse me, the show and the tweet that went with it. I titled both of them in the idea that she was standing in for Epstein. And there are people who are going to believe this forever. She tried to put that message across. Like, I'm not really just standing in for Jeffrey. I'm standing in because Jeffrey, honk honk, killed himself. Honk honk. There is, I think, a level of that, but, she herself also did the same thing. The conspiracy stuff, I think the last 3 charges were in there because of the fact that they were trying to pop her for what they couldn't get him on. But it does look like she, excuse me, is going to go up. Now, a lot of questions have also been asked, like what happens with the people who were in the Little Black Book. If she is indeed convicted facilitating the sexual perversion of people, what happens with all the people who flew on the planes, like the Donald, or like all these Hollywood celebrities, like Hawking, like Gates, like all these other major players, like Bill and Hillary, for that matter. I don't know that a lot of the rich and powerful are going to get, and that's part of the other, like the shitty part of this when we look at this. Part of what I see is this, is she is the sacrificial lamb right now, somebody who nobody knew who she even was until this whole thing with Epstein started, and basically until after he honk didn't kill himself. So, a lot of stuff to watch. A lot of stuff to go with. I don't know. But right now, it does look like she is going to be going up the river. So, we'll see what happens with that. Might want to get dumped off again. Because the pretzel rocks won't load. So, stand by. I mean, we're still streaming, so if we got to go without music for a little bit, we got to go without music for a little bit here. Reading on from the New York Post. Inside, Ghislaine Maxwell's glamorous life as Jeffrey Epstein's madam. From Tamar Lapine. Now she'll be the lady of the big house. Ghislaine Maxwell, who's in glamour for years as Epstein's right hand and one-time lover, may never taste freedom again following her sex trafficking conviction on Wednesday. I don't think she goes for the full 65. I think she outlives it. I think they put her up for 20. She comes out, writes a tell-all, you know, on her deathbed, writes a tell-all and says, yeah, these are the rich and powerful that you've worshipped for your life. Former employees of Epstein describe Maxwell, 60, as the number 2 to the pedophile financier and the lady of the house in at least one of his sprawling estates. Accounts differ as to when the British socialite, the Oxford-educated youngest child of late publishing baron Robert Maxwell, first met Epstein, but by the early 90s the two were dating. During that time, Maxwell was a fixture of the New York social scene, parading around parties on Epstein's arm and rubbing elbows with celebrities and politicians. Even after her romantic relationship cooled in the 2000s, Maxwell stayed fiercely loyal to the sex offender. Is he doing the shuffle? You know, is he doing the sex offender shuffle? She might be. What was the lady's name in the sex offender shuffle? I'm here to prove that women can do it too. Jurors were shown dozens of undated pictures of the two canoodling in various locations over the years, including a series of photos of Maxwell giving Epstein a risque foot rub aboard one of his private jets, her breasts spilling out of her shirt. She enjoyed a jet-setting lifestyle at his side, traveling with him to his homes in Paris, London, and to his private isle in the U.S. Virgin Islands, dubbed Little St. Jeff's, where multiple women say they were sexually abused. As Epstein's closest confidant, Maxwell managed multiple homes and instituted strict rules for staff, ensuring her and Epstein's steamy behavior, I'm guessing is what that's saying, because I've never heard of the word steamy. I don't know, I guess maybe there's a lot of lines where they sewed stuff in, maybe that's steamy. Behavior was kept under wraps, according to ex-housekeeper Juan Alessi. I was supposed to be blind, deaf, and dumb and say nothing of their lives, testified Alessi, who worked at Epstein's palatial Palm Beach, Florida home from 1990 to 2002, and gave a glimpse into the money man's life with his madam. So, a couple of things that I question about this. First off, I mean, Epstein was a math teacher. Let that sink in for just a second. Epstein was a math teacher. So I'm not sure where he got all the money other than, you know, trading sexual favors for people who had distinguishing tastes. But, like, I guess I look at this and I don't see where she would have had the life of glitz and glamour, at least coming into it with Epstein, because, I mean, she was rich. I don't think it would be out of line to say that she was the rich one out of the pair. And maybe a lot of the stuff was coming from her money, not his. I'm not sure. I've not read their books. I haven't seen their finances. I haven't done their accounting. So I don't know what the actual situation is. But I mean, She was rich before she met him. She was rich long before she met him. So, we'll see what happens with that. And of course, the mainstream media had to bring the Orange Man into it because of this. From Newsweek, Donald Trump silent on Maxwell verdict as GOP allies celebrate conviction. From Dara Roche. Well, let's see. For any of these people to hear him, he'll have to go on the mainstream media circuit, or he'll have to go back and do Candace Owens' shitty show again. He can't go on Twitter. He can't tweet about it. He can't say, great day for justice, okay? This is a great day for justice. Ghislaine Maxwell, she's the worst. She's gonna go to prison. Jeffrey Epstein, I kicked him off my property. I told him, no more. Rode his jet once, didn't go to the island, needed a flight to New York. It's the only one he had. But I kicked him off my property. He was grabbing the little girls around there, okay? So, they're the worst. Like, he can't get out onto Twitter and do that. Has anybody invited him on to ask him about that? And has he told them to suck his fat cock? Like I would. If they were coming out there. Because, I mean, you know that people out there, there are people out there, reporters out there, mainstream news outlets that want to come out and say, hey, yeah, I got to ask a gotcha question to Donald Trump, but he couldn't answer. Ha ha ha. I knew he was evil. Trump had not issued any statement regarding the guilty verdicts as of early Thursday morning, and no statement appeared on his official website about the matter. Some of the former president's supporters had weighed in, however, celebrating the guilty verdict, calling for further accountability. Maxwell deserves to rot behind bars for the rest of her days, and the public deserves to know every single person involved in the Epstein sex trafficking network, tweeted Republican Representative Lauren Boebert. We deserve to know the whole truth, not just some vague court sketches, she wrote. Marjorie Taylor Greene, which, of course, who does the MSM go to first? Marjorie Taylor Greene, the plant, and Lauren Boebert, who's also possibly a plant, but I'm less certain about Lauren Boebert. Marjorie Taylor Greene tweeted, Jeffrey Epstein's entire network should be made public and his fortune should go to his victims. You know, maybe I shouldn't do that impression in this state. I just thought of that. Maybe I should lay off of that one. If the fake J6 committee can subpoena innocent people's cell phone data and bank records, then Jeffrey Epstein's whole network should be publicized, she said, referring to the House Select Committee investigating January 6th of 2021. Greene and Boebert are both outspoken allies of the former president. Bridget Gabriel, founder and chairman of Act for America and supporter of the former president, wrote, I don't just want Ghislaine in jail, I want Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, and Bill Gates investigated next. The UK's Prince Andrew has denied allegations he sexually assaulted Virginia Giuffre, who alleges she was lent out to powerful men for sex by Epstein and Maxwell. Gates had said his meetings with Epstein were a huge mistake, while Clinton traveled on Epstein's private plane at least 9 times in the 90s. Yeah, and I mean, Ron is right on that too. He is silent. LOL, they want him only... Wow, I can read this morning. LOL, they want him to talk only when they want him to talk. Yeah, they want to parade him out as the court jester and say, hey Donald, we want you on the circuit now. We want to ask you all these great questions about Ghislaine Maxwell and the plane. Don't you want to come and talk to us? So, we'll see what happens with that. Alright, from the Hill. A video from St. Anthony of Fauci. Let's stop this for a second. Let's pull the music down. And let's have a listen to what the patron saint of medicine has to say.
The purpose of it is that given the wave, the extraordinary, unprecedented wave of infections that we are experiencing now and will certainly experience more of in the next few weeks, that there is the danger that there will be so many people who are being isolated, who are asymptomatic for the full 10 days, that you could have a major negative impact on our ability to keep society running. So the decision was made, although it's not completely risk-free, of saying, let's get that cut in half so that we could have 50%, namely half of the 10 days, and 50% of that time, people can actually be out with a mask in society. The purpose of it is that given the wave, the extraordinary, unprecedented...
Oops, that's not what I wanted.
wave of infections that we are experiencing now and will certainly experience more of in the next few weeks, that there is the danger that there will be so many people.
So, and I mean, this is coming out here, and Dr. Fauci doesn't know what the hell he's talking about anyway. I know he's also talking about coming out for the, the fourth booster, but, hey, we told you 14 days. Quarantine forever. Quarantine for a month. Let's lock down forever. Let's lock down for another month for this entire time. And now it's like, oh, well, if you get it, well, then maybe you only have to quarantine for a couple of days now. They're slow walking all this back because the people are starting to revolt. And he is revolting anyway, but... All right, from the New York Post. Dr. Fauci, Saint Anthony of Fauci, says fourth COVID vaccine shot conceivable for Omicron. From Jackie Sello. Dr. Fauci said Wednesday it's conceivable that a fourth dose of the COVID-19 vaccine will be recommended to protect against the Omicron variant, though more research is needed about how well the current boosters prevent severe disease. Or maybe you might have to go get another 2-shot set. Because, I look at this, and Pfizer, they definitely need more business. They're not doing as well as they could be. Before we start talking about a fourth shot, it would be very important for us to determine the durability of protection, particularly against severe diseases, for the third shot booster of an mRNA vaccine and the second shot of a Johnson & Johnson. St. Anthony said at a White House COVID task force press briefing. But Fauci said it's possible that more protection will be necessary against the variant. It's conceivable that in the future we might need an additional shot, but right now we are hoping that we will get a greater degree of durability protection from that booster, Fauci said. So we're going to take one step at a time, get the data from the third boost and make decisions based on the scientific data. Get your shot, folks. That's what Fauci wants. He wants you to get your shot forever. Just get another one. That's all. Get another one off of here. Keith Olbermann said the quiet part out loud. Something that, by the way, I have no shame about saying. I know the Blaze is coming out here and saying, oh, well, we, our good Republican members and our good Republican people. Bullshit. I rarely agree with Keith Olbermann, but he was right on the fucking money with this one. From the Blaze. Somebody gift these people some vasectomies, Keith Olbermann says in response to Mitt Romney's family photo. I'm with you on this one. From Alex Nitzberg. Republican Senator and turncoat Mitt Romney of Utah shared a family photo on social media, and Keith Olbermann has drawn attention to himself for making a wildly inappropriate comment about the lawmaker's post. I mean, isn't the MSM guy who tries to make a spectacle of himself, isn't that Jim Acosta's job? Somebody give Romney, a former Massachusetts turncoat who lost the 2012 presidential election, to incumbent Democrat President Barack Hussein O, has been married to his wife Ann for more than 50 years. They have a large family that includes 5 sons, 25 grandchildren, and 1 great-grandchild, according to the senator's biography. No! No! 3 generations of Romney? What the hell? Go out and say, hey, let's have a bunch of kids. Uh-oh. Just got knocked off, it looks like. Oh, no, maybe not. Maybe we just lost a couple frames. Olbermann has never been married, apparently, and does not have any kids. Mitt Romney, 5 children, 52 years of marriage, versus Keith Olbermann, never married and no children. I think we know who the better man is, someone tweeted. Olbermann responded, well, thanks for the compliment. What a... Many people took issue with Olbermann's vasectomies remark. This is the left today, angry, bitter, hateful. At Mitt Romney is blessed with a beautiful family, who will be plaguing our nation with their neocon tendencies for generations to come. With family, wonderful kids and grandkids, bound together by love, and that apparently is infuriating for Keith Olbermann. GOP Senator Ted Cruz of Texas tweeted, adding, really sad. Yeah, that's right. He's got the notebook full of women, too. No, it was binders. Binders full of women. If you actually think big families are a curse and not a blessing, I sincerely feel so sorry for you. Alexander DeSantis Maher tweeted, every child is a gift. Stop insulting big families, Mercedes Schlapp wrote. Raising a good family is the best thing a man can do. What a sad, cramped view of the world is to react with churlishness around that, Dan McLaughlin tweeted. No, I really do think that Mitt maybe should have stopped at one. You know, maybe we can stop that bloodline somewhere before we go into another war in the Middle East. The Bush family kind of needs to be so.